Hey, you guys, back on a Friday for a little more off hours Aaron TV, right? So Mondays is going to be gazing at open comics on a Friday afternoon, and Monday will be open sesame, right? It's pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to be going through some comics, opening them up. I got this and this. They're going to be both new and old. Um, so with the newer comics, I'm not gonna spoil it. I mean, for this episode, I'm gonna go through what I've read a little bit, so I'm gonna slow down with the comics, and it helps me. It helps me because what's the sense in reading this stuff if I don't remember it, right? So first up, we have just came out um, Avengers Twilight #4. I won't spoil this. Like I said, the newer comics I don't plan on spoiling, but it'll be interspersed with older stuff. Incredible art from Daniel Acuna. I remember him from Uncanny Avengers. Or was it Uncanny X-Force? With Rick Remender, and I really enjoyed that. This is a story. If you haven't known already about this, you should totally check it out. It's a story about the future in which there was a terrible day in which most of the heroes died, and the government took over the heroes, masquerading as the Avengers, right? And I won't give too much away on that one, other than I'm enjoying it, and it's Captain America centric. He's an old man, and he eventually takes the serum, and he he revives his friends. There's a couple friends in particular, the other two guys, but it's Tony Stark's son, future son, who is being hoodwinked by the Red Skull, right? So as I say, I'm going to intersperse this with older ones too. So this is 1988 classic X-Men 21. This reprints Uncanny X-Men 115, and this is the John Byrne era. But as a lot of you guys know, hey Jacob, thanks for joining me on this off-hour show. I'll be doing this for this month, Fridays and Mondays. Yeah, it's cool. I love this old John Byrne stuff. I love these reprints. The reprints are actually better, you guys, as I say. But the X-Men, after being captured by Magneto in previous issues, managed to escape, and but Magneto brought them to Antarctica, right? And the Savage Land is actually a conclave within Antarctica with great cloud cover that somehow creates a greenhouse effect in this land that was what time has seemed to have forgotten. Right, that's what this is about, and this is a lot about the antagonist Sauron, and of course with classic Marvel villains. There's always a shred of humanity within these people, and things have just gone wrong. There's not only John Byrne art, of course, there's other artists in here fleshing out the story from the 70s, bringing it into an 80s context. I like the way, as you know, 80s comics read. So this is a story. This is the backstory of Colossus and how he saves these girls. And at first, he couldn't use his powers. And the girls, it's more of a communal living. So, there isn't really polygamy. So Chris Claremont actually in the 80s covered a lot more mature content for a family-friendly comic. So really enjoyed that one. We'll go over this modern one as well. This came out recently. It's Gods by Jonathan Hickman. And really good-ish. I think these are good. You just got to slow down and understand what's happening, because he's using characters a lot in which we have no context because they were, we don't know who they are. But this Aiko Maria or Aiko Maki, right? In previous issues, she ended up turning. There's two factions that help guide the Marvel Universe, the magic and the science worlds. This is all new Hickman stuff, and it's good. And the natural order of things is the scientific branch. In the powers that be is more the mystical. And this character ends up turning another character towards the natural order of things, right? When that protege should have been in the powers that be, and so she's trying to make up for that mistake. Hey, what's up? She's trying to make up for that mistake by seeking out the Living Tribunal, which is a classic Marvel character. The Living Tribunal might be able to undo her mistake, but along the way to the Living Tribunal, she has to make these deals with all these unclean spirits. So terrible things happen to her, and that is the moral of the story. Is you don't make deals with spirits outside of you to get to somewhere. You do it on your own. Speaking of that type of storytelling, we have Neil Gaiman's the Dollhouse, Volume 2 of his seminal run of Sandman. Now people tend to like the classic Sandman better than this one. But this actually is good. There's a show about it. I haven't watched the show. It doesn't seem like it's for me. But the original graphic novel is pretty awesome. Mobius is the ruler of dreams, and he has a sister named Death. And in this story, they meddle with a mortal because a mortal is in a bar, boasting to the people in the bar that he's never going to die, and that dying is for suckers, right? And so Dream is intrigued by this and asks Death to grant him his wish of 100 years, and so he gets 100 years. And so every 100 years, Mobius and this mortal meet up, and they discuss the dude's adventures. And the gist of it is that there is such a thing called the human condition, in which people do not learn the lessons of their life, and they are addicted to how they behave. And so this guy, even though some lives he enjoys and some he does not, he wants to keep living. But he doesn't seem to learn, other than he becomes more powerful, of course. And at the end, he tells Mobius that if they see each other again in 100 years, they're friends, right? And that's why Mobius is so intrigued, because they're friends, and Mobius is all, the Sandman's all offended by that because he doesn't need friendship apparently. So it's actually pretty good. It's done well. Yeah, dude. Good to hear it, man. Good to hear it, Mellow Dope. Hope you're still ripping those cards, dude, and making those beats. Yeah, so 1985, Eagle Comics, which is they reprint the 2000 AD stuff from the UK. This is Robo Hunter #5, The Adventures of Sam Slayer. And it's just freaking funny as heck. You can get these on the cheap. You guys should totally get it if you haven't. In the future, humanity wants to colonize, so they send out these robot probes to a world that's can be habitable for humans, but it takes so long for the technology to develop where the humans could warp to that planet that the robots evolve on their own, and they no longer recognize who humans are, and they call humans sims for simulations, and it's just funny. The main character's got time regressed, and the pilot was too young, so he ends up being a baby. It's just funny stuff. I highly recommend this. The art is so awesome by Ian Gibson. And there's a civil war amongst the robots. Some believe, some don't believe that these are humans and that they're supposed to help the humans. Anyway, this is the last one in the series, and highly recommended, man. If you guys see that in the dollar bins, totally pick that up. We'll go with 1982, Fantastic Four, $249. You have Gladiator here, and is it Man and Superman? So what John Byrne did is, even before he was the writer for Superman, because this is before that, he must have really he had a true love for Superman, because the story kind of unfolds like a what if Superman took on the Fantastic Four, and it's really cool. Also, you get a layout of the Baxter building, the headquarters of Fantastic Four, and why it's and how it's set up in the functions of each level, where Reed Richards studies things like gravity and the strange stuff that most people won't think about. But anyway, if you can imagine Superman versus the Fantastic Four, of course Superman wins. But any X-Men fan that loves the John Byrne era, even if you're not into Fantastic Four, perhaps you should get this issue 249 and 250, because of course John Byrne draws the X-Men again much later, later years, not much later, but this is 1984. So although Gladiator, destroys the Fantastic Four, no problem, here come the X-Men. So it's pretty cool. So we'll go to like 2000, the year 2000, and we have Wildstorm's Planetary #6. And this is kind of like a reverse story. What if the Fantastic Four went out into space, but it went really bad for humanity because they did that? Here's my eyeball. You guys know I love my eyeballs, right? So the main character is Elijah Snow, and they're uncovering this history of these 4 astronauts that went out into space, and it's really cool stuff. And John Cassidy's art is good as far as I'm concerned. It's clean and interesting. At this time, 2000 to 2004, I think was a good time for comics. Anyway, these 4 astronauts become I won't spoil it, but this guy boasts that they become the secret power of the planet, and they're decades ahead of Planetary, which Planetary is an organization in which they prevent these planetary threats, right? So it's really good. The villain also implies that Elijah Snow, which is the main character, the guy with the white hair, that he knows him, and so does Planetary, because the story starts with Elijah Snow thinking he had nothing to do with Planetary and has no memory of Planetary. And in this issue, he gets taunted. He gets taunted by a villain. So we'll move on to Pacific Comics, and I think that this gets picked up by First Comics, but it's 1982, and it's Star Slayer, The Log of the Jolly Roger, and it's Mike Grail goodness, a Celtic barbarian in the far-flung future. It's really cool. Art is amazing, and it's about this this Celt who's not a pureblood of the tribe, and so there is there's your Grail splash page. You always get one of those. There is the threat of Rome. Rome and is on the march, and Rome is pretending, hey, here's a Rocketeer. Some Rocketeer art for you. Rome is pretending that they could just simply parlay with these Celts and stuff. But of course it doesn't, Rome is deceiving them. So it's really cool. But in the end, instead of this guy losing like he should have, because Rome overwhelmed them all, right? He gets zapped up into like outer space or some kind of spaceship. So it's really cool. And I got another one, so one of these will go into the doubles. I got to figure out which one, but Star Slayer gets picked up by First, and that's the only comic I read by Star Slayer, but I really like it. My indies from the 80s. I got this one from Swagda. It's your recent free comic book day, Johnny Quest. I did enjoy the story, actually. The group comes back to their island, and it seems like their island, but things are dilapidated. Their headquarters is dilapidated, and their ship is decrepit, and they're attacked by high technology. It's really written well. I guess it's an ongoing now by Dynamite. I've been interested in Dynamite. I normally stay away from them because it seems like cheesecake stuff to me, But Johnny Quest was good, but not so much. The next one I didn't like. Thundercats seemed kind of, I don't know, like they were spoon feeding you the information or something. It didn't leave a lot to the imagination. I hear Johnny Quest is good, and I also hear that Space Ghost is good. And I do like Space Ghost, So maybe I'll keep my eyes peeled for those. I don't know. Hey, Hot Rod, what's up, man? Thank you for joining me. Hope you're doing good, buddy. Yeah. I think actually you were the one who was telling me about in your last video about Space Ghost and Johnny Quest. So pretty cool. And Kenneth Bird is here saying hi to everyone. What up, Kenneth? Thank you for being here. Yeah, I like older comics. I always say this because, you got to slow down and read them, but it services both hemispheres, both sides of your brain, And so you get the awesome art, but you also read, This one I pulled out of the Filthy 50 Centers, but it was bagged and boarded, and it's high grade. It's 2018's Wasted Space, #1. Mike Morisi wrote this. It's by Vault, and Hayden Sherman did the art. And apparently in this one there's a galactic like cult, some weird, strange, corrupted cult that controls the galaxy. And you have your unlikely heroes in here. They're mostly they're not pure, in other words, right? They're anti-heroes, I guess is what you would call them. But I love the art. And so yeah, if I see these on the cheap, I will continue it. I won't continue the series reading it because I don't have the other issues. But I got tipped off from this from Rockin' Robbie, right? On his show, he does a great job with his optimism, even though I don't believe most of what he says. I like his optimism. So yeah, Wasted Space. Happy I read that. Yeah, I'm guessing this year Dynamite is actually producing some decent stuff as far as the superhero stuff goes, and maybe I'll keep my eyes peeled for it. Yeah, I agree, Rod. So we'll do another Eagle Comics. I love this stuff, man. I love it. 1984, Judge Dredd, number 9. I love the number 9. And yeah, this is great. This is the last part of the Cursed Earth, in which Judge Dredd had to get some vaccines over to Mega. He left to Mega City 1 and traveled the Cursed Earth to get to Mega City 2, and that was a whole huge adventure for like 4 of these issues. And it's just funny. It's fun British humor, which I really enjoy. There's this rock-eating alien called Tweak, which is funny. And Tweak gets to go home. Tweak had to feign, or he had to pretend he wasn't intelligent, or they would have went to his home planet and grabbed all the stuff, grabbed all the information there or whatever, the mining and all of that when they needed it for food. It's just weird, funny humor, and the art is awesome. Judge Dredd goes back to Mega City 1 after this huge adventure. And of course, there's a conspiracy to undo his popularity because there's one guy who wants to rule them all, right? So it's a lot of fun. I got onto Judge Dredd. I always knew about it as a kid, of course, but one day I was at an LCS that's not so L. I think it's called Comics the Gathering. And they had like the early issues of this for like a couple dollars each. And I went up to the register. I go, are you guys sure about this? And they go, yeah, we price looking at eBay, and what really sells. And it got me into it. I'm so happy. I just can't believe I'm getting this high grade books from the 80s, reprints of 2000 AD. So freaking beautiful. We'll do a new one here with the new comics, you guys. I don't spoil them, so I don't want to do that to my friends. But I love the art of Alessandro Capuccio, and this just came out, Moon Knight number 4, right? And this is Hunter's Moon, the counterpart of now he's a relatively new character of the counterpart of Moon Knight, who's another fist of Kansu. I probably mispronounced that. But anyway, Mark Spencer died, apparently, in comics. And there's a new Moon Knight who's not getting along with anyone else from the Midnight Mission. And I like the art. I just think it's cool. And so they regard this new Moon Knight as a fake, But I won't get into it. In this one, they actually reveal who the new Moon Knight is. And it's not like a mind-blowing reveal, but it's interesting enough. I guess, you know? So yeah, I highly recommend Vengeance of the Moon Knight, the current ongoing Moon Knight, and the volume before it. See if you guys are saying hi and stuff. Yeah, totally love it, man. What's up, Dance X-Men Comics? Yeah, hopefully we get to trade some X-Men, buddy, but it's cool. Maybe we'll keep the dialogue going alive. And maybe I'll just buy some stuff off you. I don't know. But thanks for being here, new YT friend. Cool. Tempest from Mars. This guy knows about 2000 AD because he's across the pond, dude. Thanks for being here. Check out his videos, man. They're very funny. Kind of like the dry humor, surprise humor, kind of stuff that I love. I really love it. Yeah, Rod, it's so worth it. So worth reading. Also, the Robo Hunter, the Ian Gibson art is magnifique, and it's funny. You know. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I've been slowly collecting the other ones as well. What is it? Quality, Fleetway, and Quality, because they also reprint the 2000 AD stuff here in the States. So, yeah. Hey, what up, Gray Man? There's another guy. You guys should be checking out his short little videos. And he does these reenactments of the voice, except he distorts the voice a little bit for these little strips. But I don't know, Tempest from Mars and the Gray Man, you both are from the UK. Hopefully you guys are subbed up to each other at least, right? But yeah. Thanks, dude. I'll trade with my UK friends too. You know, I know it's a little more expensive, but whatever. You know a lot more than UK, brother. Man, when especially your guests there, you guys have been collecting comics for so long, man. And I love the flippant attitude, man. I really do. What's in the box, right? Yeah, you know what though, Jacob? I actually bought some 2000 AD. You won't believe this. I'll bring it out someday. I did it before on What's in the Box. I got them for $1 each at my comic shop. I only bought like 5 of them because I didn't know what I was freaking doing, but I should have got all of them, $1 each. And one of them is newspaper, like a newspaper, how it was originally printed out. Cool stuff. So yeah, so I'm gonna move on to this here. I think this is 2008. It's a reprint though, or no, this is 2005. It was even before that. It's Ex Machina, #1, Brian K. Vaughan. I enjoyed this a lot. It's some reluctant hero. Oh, you get to find out what a Deus Ex Machina really was for those of us who didn't know. Back in the day, it was actually used in plays, the device that brought people down from the heavens. So it's used figuratively now as an unlikely solution to an impossible situation in comics, right? But this guy's cool. He had an accident involving electricity in which he can somehow communicate with machines, and he has an inside guy that builds devices for him. But he decides to give up the hero life and go for the mayor's office. He wants to become a politician instead. He thinks he could do more. He could benefit others that way. So I really don't know much about Ex Machina, but I'm seeing this in the Filthy 50 Centers. I got it in my $25 long box. I don't know what numbers, but I'm gonna definitely be reading Ex Machina when I see it. Okay, let's go to an older one here. 1981, Defenders, 99. This is the Defenders descending into the realm of the six-fingered demon hand. Written by J.M. DeMatteis, which the Gray Man on his channel actually has guys interviewing him sometimes and what J.M. DeMatteis is up to these days. And I grew up on J.M. DeMatteis as a Marvel zombie. And in this story, they descend into Citrusville, which is the nexus of all worlds, right? Where Man-Thing resides. And there's a threat that now that the six-fingered hand realm will take over the universe, consequently, or the universe, or the different realms of Earth. There you go, your lifeless circus, right? And that always figuratively means a lot, right? Hell, your lifeless freaking circus, pretty much. So, of course, they end up battling demons there. I feel like I could spoil this a little bit. But what you find out is Gargoyle, Isaac Christians, the Gargoyle, who I have always liked since I was a kid due to a Marvel team-up issue with Spider-Man. And learned a lot about humanity through that comic book, believe it or not. But the Gargoyle actually lays his hands on people and energy bolts come out, and he actually sucks the life force out of people, which demons do. But he also realizes that he can reverse that and actually give life, which I think is pretty cool. And of course, the six-fingered hand scheme, which was laid out for many, 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 many issues of Defenders, gets undone in this issue, but it was all just elaborate planned by Mephisto, right? So there's always a deeper conspiracy pulling the strings and whatnot, you know? So, okay, we got people in the chat, and thank you all for being here. Thanks for being cool to me. I'm normally just some introvert dude, but I think YouTube is definitely cool, man. It's cool. You guys are being cool to each other, couching and slouching. Thanks for being here. I checked out one of your videos, my friend, and I found you through Will, Couple Comics, my partner. And yeah, you're down to earth, dude. I appreciate that. Beck Neptune, I'll see you Saturday if you can make it on Rob's the Cheap Comic Collectors claim sales, $2 sales. And he sells copper too, you guys. Really good copper and some bronze. Don't expect super high grade, but it's $2 and free shipping. You can't beat that. What up, Z? Zodiac, what's up, dude? Alberto, what up? Thanks for being here. All right, you guys are being cool to each other. And yeah, Gargoyle is just the demon cosplay. Yeah, we all know Jack is king, dude. Demon is awesome. But you understand of course, you read more shit than me. Oh, family-friendly program, dude. I should be swearing. Yeah, I'm currently collecting Defenders, and I have that on my blog spot, how much Defenders I have. So if you guys ever want to trade with me, please let me know. Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. Like, that's what stories are for, right? It's not just literal. I love it. No, you're not a moron, dude. It's like, it doesn't seem like I'm introverted or anything, but I really am. I do. I spend a lot of time alone. And I know you're home hanging out with taking care of your mom, Rob. And this is the same thing to you. It's like, wow, this is a lot of fun, So shout out to Triple C, dude. I'm glad you're a partner of mine. All right, so we're gonna go to a modern comic. This just came out. Detective Comics 1064. Ram V elaborates on the culture of Ra's al Ghul's culture with a story that Talia al Ghul is telling Damien, right? About, I don't know, what is it? Like, what's his name? Farhan. And it's a story about making deals and with mortals making deals with gods and stuff like that. It's a reoccurring kind of theme, but it's definitely a cool story. But in this issue, there's a threat to Gotham, if you guys could believe that, by a brand new sinister cult family, the Orgams or whatever, and they're deeply rooted in Arkham Asylum and the creation of Gotham, of course. You know, I mean, you guys heard this before, long-term Batman fans, but this is actually done well. And I've read this stuff before. Like, I've been reading Detective, because this is the ongoing Detective comic. I've been reading it, but I had to stop and just reread it all and try to contextualize it, because I was losing context. Anyway, Talia's trying to prevent Batman from interfering with the Orgams' arrival in Gotham, which is a big press release thing too. It's a big deal. So it's definitely a cool. I think DC still treats Batman way better than Marvel treats Spidey. I mean, get with it, Marvel. And Cheap Comic Collector and I had a great discussion about that. It goes back to Stan the Man. It's his fault. Even though I love Stan the Man, it's his fault Spidey sucks, because more emphasis was put on Peter Parker, and Peter Parker being like you and me. He's just like you and me. He's out there, and everyone's a hero. And for its time in the 60s, that's pretty cool. And it's still a great message. But unfortunately, in my opinion, it has hamstrung the character, because the character has the look, which is the most important thing in comics is the look. He's got the rogue gallery. And I think I agree with Steve Ditko and Roger Stern that the emphasis should not be put on Peter Parker, but it should be him just crime fighting and him being a scientist more, even though, he's a reluctant scientist, Peter Parker, and stopping other freaking mad scientists. I mean, there's enough there for that, But yeah, dude, 1984, we're talking about The King, Pacific Comics, Silver Star, number 6. I got this, I think, at a half price. I didn't pay 50 cents for it, but look at the King Kirby right there. And this is the last one in the series. I ended up reading the last comic in the series. But yeah, dude, it's the Angel of Death. Taking out, bringing fucking, another swear on this family-friendly channel. I should watch that. But bringing the end to the world turning, the first thing it does is turns on the cult of the Angel of Death, right? Because there's always a cult that is power hungry and worships some fucking crazy thing so that they could remain on the dung heap. And it never works out. It never works out. And they should learn that. They should go read fucking Jack Kirby. Anyway, dude, you gotta freaking love. You gotta love it. You gotta love the King, even in the 80s. And this stuff's under the radar still, you guys. You could pick this up on the cheap. I'm hoping Rob, Cheap Comic Collector, if you have other Silver Stars, I mean, look at this. Please put them aside for me. I know you don't do that. I got to show up for your claims, buddy. But I'll find this stuff on the cheap, and I'll give it a good read, 1 through 6, And then there's a backup. There's a little backup story. That was okay. Kind of little forgettable story, little medieval romp adventure, whatever. It was fun enough. But I just love indies from the 80s. I love the quality of the paper. I love the color. Love all that stuff. Okay, let me say hi to some peeps. You guys are just being all cool to each other. Hey, anyone with a blue wrench, feel free to drop links. You don't have to, but make sure everyone's subbed up to each other, and I really appreciate that. So, all right, you guys are done yapping. Okay, how could character like Spider-Man go along? I think I explained it, really. You know, nobody cares anymore. Whether it's not even about Parker being married anymore. That was one of the great divides right there. I sided on the side of don't get married, you know. But J.M.D. Matias did a great stories with him being married. Anyway, I think we nailed it. Rob, Cheap Comic Collector, and we nailed it as to why Spidey lacks now. Okay, so we're talking more indies from the 80s. 1986, Dragon Ring #3. I got into Dragon Ring from my guy Big Elbow. And this I got a really high copy from Mike, Easy Comic Reader. This is about what do you call it? Drake Cole or Cole Drake, I forget. And he has this dragon ring grafted to his hand. And so they take this this journey to an island to unravel the mystery of what this dragon ring is. And of course, he's got to prove himself to a tribe and all this stuff. But I think the freaking art is awesome. Brian Blair had a little bit to do with this. I maybe discovering this artist, Guan Yap or whatever. I mispronounced his name probably. But yeah, pretty cool. And he has a sidekick, a young sidekick. And yeah, it always is about like weird, dark stuff, which I love reading about. I love when they're foiled, though. I love when the villains are foiled. And then in the back, there's a nice, cool story about it's a very Lovecraftian tale about this jewel in the sea, and it's about greed, and it's about the jewel being accursed and stuff. So it's a really good story. The backup was just as good. You gotta love this, you guys. Do you love the indies from the 80s or what? You know, as Metarog pointed out to me, the stuff just flooded the direct market and therefore was really overlooked. Okay, so we got something from 1994 probably. Yep, 1994. Found this in the Filthies, high grade with a bag and board. By Dark Horse Comics, it's Will to Power, #1. And right here is Titan. He's your Superman analog, and that's like X Killer. They just call him X, right? He's probably more your Batman. I don't know these characters very well. But for some reason, I like this. I guess Titan is being sponsored by some congressman or something like that. And X is like, X Killer is not having it, and he's doing everything to prevent this corruption from happening. So I like the title, Will to Power. You have this this guy is schizophrenic talking to a sink, but he might be correct about certain conspiracies, which is really cool. And yeah, really digging it. Really digging Will to Power. I have a bunch of these. I don't know how long it went for, but high grade, dark horse indie stuff. Loving it. Okay, the next one I read was Ultimate Spider-Man #4. Now you guys probably already heard this. It's not the same artist that's been on the current Ultimate Spider-Man. It's just a bunch of character development of characters you really don't know about, by the way. I mean, MJ and Peter might be behaving the same way, but Gwen Stacy is not. And that's what a lot of modern writers do is they take these cutouts. People know these culturally identifiable characters. And so in alternate realities, they become someone different. And Jonathan Hickman, I'm a big fan of. So I'm on board for Ultimate Spider-Man, even though there wasn't that much action. Sometimes these modern comics are a little decompressed, but Ultimate Spider-Man is definitely worth reading. Say hi no, good. Okay, cool. 1973. Marvel Superheroes 37. Very cool. I guess Gene Colan got sick or something, according to the description of what happened. The Gallant Gene, who I think is Gene Colan, got sick, and so the crackling Kirby had to take over after a couple pages. But this is a really cool throwdown between Iron Man and Submariner. And you know what? Submariner was just handing Iron Man his butt. Thing about Stan Lee scripts is you might consider them. Look at that. I freaking love that. You might consider Stan Lee's scripts a little outdated, but they're family friendly. He relied heavily on the artists for the story, the camera angles and all that. And then he came back and did he would give them the plot. You guys know this as comic fans, right? But yeah, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the Hulk story as well. Hulk story featured, I think, Boomerang, but it wasn't the Boomerang I grew up with. It was a different one. And Roy Thomas wrote it. He looks like that. But it was cool. Of course, you have the secret evil empire that's forming, but one of them, one of the lower ranking members turned on the higher ranking members. And that's what happens too with evil. They turn on each other too. That's why they implode. It never works. Unless they get that freaking monster out of the bottle, then it's some serious trouble. Okay, and the last two, I think I got 2 or 3 here before we end it. This issue of Warlock, 1976. Warlock, number 12. By Jim Starlin. But this issue isn't about Warlock at all. It's about Pip the Troll. And it's really funny. He's hanging out with Alpha Mama, I think her name's called. No, Mama Alpha. In some cosmic cabaret or whatever. And he escapes her because she falls in love with him. But then he encounters this girl who's captive. And what's her name? Heater of Delight. Because Warlock's out in space contemplating his latest adventure, multi-versal realities, and fighting his evil self and all that stuff. So the story's pretty much about Pip the Troll, and it's good. you know. Pip wants to be with this girl for as long as he can. He wants to get with her. And so he agrees to help free her. But she just runs off with Star Fox in the end. So it's pretty cool. I liked it a lot. Jim Starlin did the breakouts. Someone else did the finishing. Okay, we got two more here. 1995, Starman #2. That's the Shroud. Or no, it's the Shade, actually, the Shade. There's Jack Knight, another reluctant hero who's been passed down. The mantle of Starman has been passed down to him, but he has his own duds, right? He has his own costume, and it's pretty good. Higgy, shout out to Higgy, got me into Starman, and this is written very well. I love the colors. I love the characters. He's, his father secretly loves him, but always showed him outward distinct. His brother died a couple issues ago. You have this mystic here that could see the future, but her town just stopped listening to her, so she didn't have a means of income, so she moved. Stuff like that. It's definitely cool. I like it. I only have a few of these early issues, so yeah. He does get an old cosmic rod. That's one of the originals. It's a really long one. Okay, and the last one we got here is when I was a kid, I read the first few issues of this, and I loved it. It's 1981. No, it can't be 81, is it? It might. No. Anyway, I don't believe that. It's not 81 at all. It's later, but it's Justice League International 21. I love the humor. Ty Templeson does the art in this one, not Kevin McGuire. And I think the story suffers a little bit consequently. But the Justice League goes to Apocalypse to retrieve Mr. Miracle. And the humor kind of falls flat in this one. There's all this story built up about Lobo having to kill half the team because Lord Manga Khan hired Lobo. And, this is the first time Lobo gets his identity as this crazy mercenary who loves dolphins and killed his own race and all that stuff. So it's definitely, it's okay. I know this one kind of let me down a little bit because there's all this build up to going and saving Scott-free. But then, Oberon just finds Darkseid sitting down reading a book. Like, what? So some of the humor flew over my head. And Darkseid had no interest in all of this. He just told everyone to stop and go home. So I never read a superhero comic where the villain did that. So it's kind of funny, but it didn't read that funny. And I do miss Kevin McGuire's art, although Ty Templeson, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. I think he does get better for this issue and that last issue. Yeah, Ty Templeton does the art. So yeah, and that's it, you guys. I'm signing off. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to say hi to anyone who's been talking a little bit. Yeah, Classic Starlin. Yep. Yeah, Tales to Astonish, which I never read, Rod. So it's for me, it's like, wow, loving the Silver Age. And I'll go after those bronze reprints, or if I can get my hands on the silver, I'll do it, dude. Dr. Silver Age. So you won a giveaway, huh? Cool. Oh, you were so disappointed. Okay. Well, Conan is currently doing good, I guess, in Titan Comics, right? Um, yeah, dude. Starman is reading really well, and I guess James Robinson was a great writer in the late '90s. So very cool. Yeah, me too. I still enjoy it. I'm still going to read it all straight into Justice League Europe. Thanks, Rod. Hopefully, if you have ever time, you're always welcome on our Wednesday show. Um, would love to see you there, brother. Yeah. Okay, later. Okay, this is it. I'll see you guys again on Monday. I'm gonna call it "Open Says Me" or something. And these comics I read, the other ones from now on, I'll just be opening and talking about it. I'm doing the streams more. I'm doing Aaron TV because my other projects are falling behind, so I need time to just firm up my other projects. I'm releasing a double album at the end of this month, hopefully, and I think it's called Action Epiphanies. Anyway, all right, yeah, would love that, Rod. Really would. All right, you guys, thanks for being cool to me. This is Psychotronic Squirt Gun signing off. I'll talk to you later. Deuces.